Hello and welcome to the Slingshot channel, Shotgun edition. Yeah, today's video is about the Pedersoli Howdah Flintlock in 20 gauge caliber. A beautiful gun, I really like it. Here it is with mounted rear stock. And we're gonna fire it today to find out how it behaves against ballistic gelatin. We plan to fire shot, like bird shot, against the naked ballistic gel block and see how the individual little balls behave. And then we have 18mm plywood. It's high quality birch plywood. You can really see that this is solid. And we're gonna fire lead and steel balls against it. I have no idea if it's gonna crash through, but if it does, then I have to say it's definitely a legit weapon. The Pedersoli Flintlock Howdah. Let me talk a little bit about the gun first. It was actually invented or designed for a very specific purpose because it was used in India, usually without the rear shaft, which is really only attached by a clamp system here. And it was used on elephants. So people would ride on Indian elephants, and if there would be a tiger, they would not be defenseless. They would actually use this and then fire from the back of the elephant towards the animal. And now, of course, it is much like a sawed-off shotgun. It's 20 caliber. This means that the diameter of the barrel is between 15 and 16 millimeters. And it's not choked, so it's very straight. This means that you can put anything into the barrel, anything that halfway fits. You know, buckshot or just very fine bird shot or steel balls, just anything. It is a flintlock gun. What does that mean? For those of you who do not know what a flintlock is that the main powder charge that you actually fill in from the muzzle side, it's a muzzle loader, will actually then end up being here in this space here. And there is a little hole that is drilled sideways. Let me see if you can see this here. If I zoom in, you can see the little hole that actually just goes directly down to the main powder charge. And here you can see a little pan where you would put some finely grained black powder on, and then you close this, and the surface of this here is actually hardened steel. And here you actually have a real piece of flint clamped in between the hammer here. Okay, you can see that this is real flint here. And so what you do is you put the finely grained powder down here, you close this, then you fully cock the hammer, and when you strike it, you will see some sparks going down into the pan where actually the black powder is. Did you see the sparks? That is all it takes to securely ignite the black powder that is in the pan. So this is how you would actually handle the gun. There would be powder in the barrel and there would be some black powder here in the pan. And you would close this so that it's basically watertight. And in case you want to fire, you fully cock back the hammers and then it shoots. Now this gun is made by Pedersoli in Italy and it's a high-end gun. This is not just like an Indian replica. It's really a superbly made gun. And it's on top level, really. I think that people in ancient India would have killed for this. This would be a king's gun, I believe. The workmanship is just pristine. I really love it. But it's also an expensive gun. It costs quite a bit of money. And Pedersoli has a long waiting time for such guns. We probably have waited, like for the first shipment, we waited over a year. Now we're loading it. And we're using about 40 grains of black powder. And we're starting with the bird shot. And we are shooting about 22 grams of very fine bird shot. Let me show you how fine that bird shot is. Can you see it? Very fine bird shot. Now we're talking. den Shotgun. Ja, jetzt ist sie geladen. So. Alright, birdshot. First test. Whoa. It worked. Let's check the damage. It did exactly what birdshot is supposed to do. Here you can see, you know, that the little cork part, I don't know what it's called in English, has hit it. A sabot, I think it's actually a sabot. In any case, this is definitely penetration. Not so deep that it would kill someone, but it would definitely be a shock. I'm absolutely sure about that. Whoa! That's so much fun! Now it's getting interesting because I actually doubled up the black powder load. So there's now 80 grams, there's now 80 grains of black powder behind each ball. In the left barrel, I put a 14mm lead ball, of course with a patch, and in the right one, I put a 15mm steel ball. It's going to be interesting to see the comparison. So again, this is the block. And as you see, it's really high quality beech plywood. Whoa! I think I hit it. Did I? I really did hit it, and I think the wound canal is most interesting. As you can see, it was also, you could see that it actually really opened inside the ballistic gelatin, because you can see a spot where it tore the ballistic gelatin off, like in a circular shape. Can you see this? And also the steel ball penetrated, and it almost came out of the back. You can already see that it actually created like a dimple, an outward dimple. Very interesting. Let's fire the other barrel. Whoa. This time it was a full-on hit. So this was an absolute success. I mean, look at the wound canal, but also see that not only did it crash through the plywood, but it was also then penetrating further into the gelatin, and I think it's absolutely perfect that it is trapped inside of it. It's a beauty. Now we're gonna shoot a steel ball into the naked gelatin block and see if it goes through all the way. Whoa! I hit it a little bit right. I mean, forgive me because there's not really an aiming system on this thing. But I just hit it. And again, the wound canals were super interesting. And it also exited here and went into the other block. So most interesting, you see that it entered here, just a short distance, lodged itself into the plywood and was stopped again. So since we still have some black powder left, since I don't really want to take that stuff home, in any case, I loaded a triple amount of it into here. So there's now a good 120 grains of black powder, and I also almost doubled up the shot. And I want to find out if the penetration will now be significantly better in comparison to the weaker shot. Wow! Some of the pellets came back and hit me on the head. So the shot was really, really hard, much harder than the previous shots. But interesting enough is that you can see this actually when you look from below. See that the 3 hits that we had with the birdshot actually achieved about the same penetration. So doubling up the powder really didn't do much about this. There was a much bigger bang, and also the recoil was a lot bigger, but it really didn't cause any more penetration. I think that is because the momentum of the very lightweight little lead balls is just not high enough. So I think that's my theory anyway. The last of the black powder. Since a lot of people in Germany will want to buy this for home defense, just because you can get it without a license. I would like to find out the spread of the bird shot on a typical home defense distance. So we're going to use, like, I would say, maybe 5 yards or something. And it's going to be interesting to see. And there's, again, I think, a triple load in there. Okay. Whoa. Yeah, I think the rabbit would be dead, but on the other hand, I shot a little bit to the left. I think I have to learn to compensate for the left and right barrel. But in any case, you can see here's where the sabot crashed through, and you can see that the spread of the pellets, I think, is actually perfect if you want to hit an attacker from that kind of distance. Before you go, I have a special treat for you, or also you can call it a request. Because the shooting part of that video was filmed at the range that belongs to Michael Rumpel, who's actually our go-to gunsmith, fully licensed master gunsmith. And he is some kind of guy right after my heart. So he let me into his gun room, which is really like a bank vault. And in one of the corners, I found a huge Gatling apparatus. So, you know, I love Gatling guns, like all of them. And I've made some myself, of course, using muscle-powered weapons only. But that guy, he had a monster there, and asked him what that is. And he says, oh, that's a Gatling gun that I built 10 years ago, all by myself. And I looked at it and I said, what kind of caliber is it chambered for? And he said, oh, it's 1276. So the guy built a fully functional, fast shooting, like 7 shots a second, Gatling that fires even slugs from out of 12 gauge shotgun shells. And then he said he has a video out, and he said that video actually is 10 years old and it didn't even have like 20,000 views. I loved it. I loved every bit of it. And I'd like to ask you to go to his video and leave a like and leave a comment, so that I hope that it's going to make a big splash even 10 years after it's been filmed. I would love, like in the summer, to take this thing out to some range and then destroy stuff with it, like a fridge or an old TV or a car or whatever. Wouldn't that be fun? So, the Pedersoli Flintlock Howdah, it is a boatload of fun. It's just pure shooting fun. And a little delay between the flash in the pan and the shot is actually, it feels genuine. I think this is the real deal. And I also love the fact that you really, all you need is black powder and something that fits into the barrel and a little bit of toilet paper as a wet, and then you can go shooting. I think this is definitely a real good choice against zombies in an apocalypse. Anyway, I hope you liked this, because that's it for today. Thanks and bye-bye.